Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I am one of your hosts, MrBooMStickXL, and it has been one heck of a birthday week. The generosity that was shown to me has been seriously tear-inducing. So I wanted to say thank you very much to the entire community, especially to the members that donated, not only to the show, but sent me private messages and even some gifts. So to go further with this show, I need someone who I think is one of the coolest gamers out there. He's going to have an epic story to tell us on today's show. That is none other than the Welsh Gamer. Dude, welcome to the show. I heard a lot of good things about your UK trip to one of their biggest gaming shows in the country. How was it, man?
Oh man, I'm just overall like really stoked at the moment. I'm just such an excited. I'm like a kid at Christmas at the moment. I just had like a trip of a lifetime, like literally second year in a row at EGX 2018. Phenomenal place to be if you're a gamer. The after party was lit. It was me, Microbox of X, Andy Mack, and Roscoe from the YouTube channel Legends of Podcasts, which you want to check out if you're a DC and Marvel fan.
Nice.
Just an epic weekend, man. Epic weekend. And then to come home to do this show, Vikings against the Rams this evening, for early hours tomorrow morning because of where I am in the world. But I'm just buzzing. Like I'm excited, man. Very excited.
Well, listen, before we go any further, I want to tell everyone that today's show is being brought to you by Dave's Sweeps. Now, if you're not familiar with that name, go to Twitter right now and follow them and tell them MrBooMStickXL sent you. They run a daily contest, and guess what? I won a $50 Xbox Live code last week, and you know what I did with it? All I did was retweet, favorite, and write in the caption, I want to win Dave's Sweeps. That's simple. And like I said, thanks to that big win, I was able to pre-order the ultimate edition of Forza 4. And not only that, they are legit. This is not a scam. They don't look to get any money on the back end. These contests are the real deal. So go out there, follow them on Twitter, and enter these contests, because I'm not the only one that's won. Plenty of people within this community has won the contest. And like I said, there's nothing better than free, especially when you're talking about full gaming budgets, because obviously everyone's pockets are going to be empty. But you know what? Let's get into today's topics, and there's a lot of them. I mean, my goodness. This week, we had the Xbox show that's called Inside Xbox. Now, some people love it. Some people hate it. But you know what? This week's show was all talking about none other than Forza Horizon 4. And obviously, if you keep your ear to the floor, it's getting killer review scores on Metacritic. Now, you know what? Metacritic, take it or leave it, they are who they are. But you can't deny the scores. Now, Drew, I'm going to read a couple of them to you, and I want to get your take on this, because we all knew that this was going to be an amazing game. Playground Games, they are the ultimate AAA developer, right? And we knew based on just the demo that we played that Forza Horizon 4 was going to be it wasn't going to be just another racer. It was going to be one of the biggest racers, genre-bending racing. You know, you talk about racing, you say, well, it's a little bit of a niche kind of a thing. Not Forza Horizon. That series seems to have broken through the mold of just being another racer. So let's talk about some of these scores. First of all, Windows Central gives it 100. True Achievements, 100. Gaming Trend, 100. Xbox Tavern, 98. IGN, 96. Dual Shockers, 90. Destructoid, 90. GameSpot, and you know they could be funny, 90. This is fantastic news for Playground Games and, of course, the Xbox platform. First and foremost, I'm curious, are you getting this, and what version are you getting of this game, and are you surprised by these incredible scores?
No, I'm not surprised. I tell you what, I am surprised at though. DualShockers and IGN giving it a score in the 90s. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I know we said on the last show, Boom, that you got to take all of these like reviewers' opinions with a pinch of salt and develop your own opinion. But you can't deny that these numbers do look impressive next to a well and truly deserved game. 343 343 Playground Games are a phenomenal developer who strive to do big things, and I'm not in the slightest bit surprised to answer your question that these are the numbers this game is getting. And will I be getting it? The answer is yes, because I am an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, so I'll be getting it day and date. I imagine it'll only be the standard edition, but that's fine for me. If I want to invest in any of the like, you know, season passes or whatever, I can do that at a later date. But yeah, I'll be playing that game. You mark my words. The only reason I say no, I'm not going to put money down for Ultimate Edition or Super Duper Edition or whatever other editions they got going on is because I'm saving my money for Red Dead 2. But nonetheless, I've got Xbox Game Pass and I am fired up to go. It looks a phenomenal game. The demo played beautifully. And these numbers are deserved, Boom.
I mean, look, let's call a spade, okay? You know, without a doubt, this is the biggest title that Xbox has as an exclusive for 2018. So to see these kind of scores, you know, look, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from Sea of Thieves. I'm not taking anything from the zombie game, which it escapes me for some reason. But those games are good. Forza Horizon 4 is great. And I'm really happy that I was able to get my hands on the Ultimate Edition. You know, there's a lot of bonuses. This is the first year that both DLCs are included. And I think that was really smart of Playground Games, really smart of Microsoft to do that, because I was one of the people that were kind of bamboozled, if you will, 2 years ago when I bought Forza Horizon 3. I bought the Ultimate Edition, and when the Blizzard Mountain came out, I kept seeing that it was $14.99. I'm like, wait a second, I have the Ultimate Edition. How is this possible? So what I do, I bought it, right? And then obviously when the Hot Wheels edition came out, I knew it was something I had to buy separately. So I bought it, and it's amazing. But this is smart. This is the way to go. When you say Ultimate Edition, you think Ultimate, right? You think everything under the sun. And that includes all the DLC. And of course, they showed off some of the Bond cars, even though you're not really shooting anybody, because, you know, but you can look at all the machine guns that are and all of the attachments. I think it's going to be amazing. But, you know, I'm really happy for Microsoft, because they needed a big W, and I think they got it. Do you think that this propels them forward into next year, you know, with their chest pushed out, you know, high?
I believe so. I mean, we just come off the back of the news of Mikey Barra or Aaron Greenberg, one of the two, saying that we have enough content this side of Christmas. A lot of people hate that, and it's been a bit polarizing and a bit controversial.
Yes.
Some people are like, oh, no, that's bullshit. We could have done with Crackdown. We could have done with a new IP, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But bottom line, I think Forza carries the torch, man, carries the weight of it all. I think this side of Christmas, this late into 2018, Xbox needed a game, whether it be Forza or anything else. It needed an IP to carry us over to 2019, ready for whatever we have in store from Crackdown 3 and beyond. I think Xbox needed this, Boom, and I think, frankly, when I stand back and appreciate just the numbers you've told me and the hype that's behind this game, and how you said earlier that it's not a niche racer. What Playground Games have achieved with the Forza Horizon series is nothing short of excellent. It targets everyone. So this is a game for all bases. This is a game for your casual, your hardcore, your racing fan, your multiplayer fan. It's got you covered on pretty much every base. And it's hitting extremely high review scores, and people are excited. It's safe to say that when I stand back and appreciate the situation from a distance, I think Aaron Greenberg was correct, or at Mikey Barra, whichever one it was. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it was Aaron Greenberg that said we have a lot of content.
Yeah, I think he was absolutely right. I mean, I agreed with him before, and I gave reasons why he could or could not be correct or wrong or whatever. But now, standing back, I think he's absolutely spot on. I think he simply just had faith in in the product that they were presenting, and now who's laughing with now that Forza's on the horizon and the hype is real and it's getting these scores. I think he was onto something, Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to as a host, you and we have our own shows, and I listen to many people in the communities of the show. Saltiest Gaming, the Crap Gamer, Mooch on Xbox Nation. Obviously, I'm on Crossfire, so I listen to plenty of other folks' shows, and I have to give him a shout out, and he does need my help because Dealer Gaming he's the real deal. I mean, that guy is absolutely fantastic. He obviously has a show on Tuesdays, RDX, and he doesn't need little Boomstick helping him along because he has thousands and thousands of subs on his YouTube channel. And if you're not subbed, I highly recommend getting out there and subbing Dealer Gaming's channel because he does do a lot of work. But he had a video. And I have to talk about it because I've already gotten, I don't want to sound nasty, but I shot my Forza load, if you will, with the happiness. I'm excited. I have to excuse myself. Forza 4 is going to be amazing. Forza Horizon 4 is going to be amazing. But, I have to back end this with, once again, the marketing that Microsoft has put forth. I'm sorry, as a fan, I have to question. And, obviously, this is an Xbox show. Everyone knows that I'm an Xbox first gamer. I mean, it's I wear it on my sleeve proudly. But you know what? I would be a fraud if I didn't come out and say when they did something that I didn't like, question it. And I'm not sure if you saw the video or you watched inside Xbox, their Forza portion of it. They hired a bunch of celebrities. And I use the term loosely because a lot of them some of them I didn't even know who they were. Some of them I knew from like the Transformers movie and Fast and the Furious. But Forza Horizon 4 and Playground Games are two entities that pretty much sell themselves. All you have to do, in my opinion, is put someone holding a controller and watch them play, right? But that's not what they did. They sat them in what looked like to be like a mock kind of a car. And now you're like, okay, this is going to be good because they have the wheel, they have the brakes, they have the pedals. This is great. And then, of course, like most things that Xbox has done in regards to their marketing, it took a turn for the bizarre. And as they're driving, because obviously the main draw with Forza Horizon 4 is the seasons, and that's dope. Okay, but I didn't think it was necessary to throw chocolate milk at them, which was supposed to represent mud, and shaving cream or whipped cream to simulate snow, and they're wearing goggles, and it just was. It was like watching something on Nickelodeon that went totally bananas. Okay. And
sorry, man, listening to you describe that scenario was just making me giggle.
Now, again, it did look like the people that were getting splashed with all of this shenanigans looked like I guess they were having fun. But I just think that when you are behind and you have a game like Forza Horizon 4 coming out, the fans are going to buy it. Even the casuals. I have friends that don't even buy racing games. Who are like, what is this Forza Horizon 4? I hear you talking about in your show, Boom. It looks incredible. I say, download the demo. You tell me. I sold at least 10 copies. I'll get nothing for it, but I'm just happy that that sales, for an Xbox game were, I contributed to that. So, good on me. But, I haven't seen a lot of marketing. The game technically launches tonight at midnight because I have the Ultimate Edition. And, I want to get your opinion on this. I know I'm not sure if you saw it, but I think I pretty much described what in your mind you can see, how horribly wrong this was going. Do you think that Microsoft needs to take a page out of Sony's book when it comes to marketing and stop with the, like for instance, when they did the State of Decay, Inside Xbox edition, right? They were in a trapped room. Just some of their marketing ideology just seems a little off to me. I just wish they would ask the fans what they wanted. Do we want serious? And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I turned 48 and I like being a kid and I play video games. But I think when it comes to marketing, if you want to be serious and you want to make a dent and you want to make a splash, you got to go out there and you got to, be in everyone's face and be legitimate about it. Am I wrong from thinking this, Drew?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong because it's your opinion. For me, I think that with any, when it comes to business in general, if it's your own business or a big corporation, whatever, there's a time for professionalism. There's a time for lightheartedness. There's a time for approachability. There's a time for PR. There's a time for just about anything, like any angle of the business side of things. Like, I think if this was just a little segment that you've described to me from Inside Xbox, which is a monthly show that Xbox put on, I think it was harmless by the sounds of things. But if you're asking me the main question, if we're looking at the bigger picture now, like Inside Xbox aside and what they do on that show, if you're asking me bigger picture now, that should Xbox be taking notes from Sony with their marketing? Yes, I completely agree that is the case. Like I don't know what, like Aaron Greenberg, right? I follow him on Twitter. He's always got something good to say. He's an advocate for Xbox, and he's always promoting. He seems like quite the personality.
Yes,
but I gotta be honest. Sometimes I wonder if the reason why he is still the marketing manager or whatever it is for Microsoft is simply because he's just a good laugh to have around. They're keeping him around because he's good at knock jokes more than he is at his own job. Like, because I'm not trying to be nasty. I love Aaron Greenberg, and I think in terms of like his Twitter account and his communication with other people in the community, he's top notch. He's great to have around. But I can't help but wonder sometimes what he has actually done this generation in terms of marketing. I was only saying on the last Dragon X podcast, we were talking about Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2. With the exception of a couple of things that cropped up on YouTube, the odd Twitter retweet, and the cinema campaign, at least over here in the UK, where, if you went to the cinema to go watch Avengers, you would have seen a trailer before the film turned on with State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves. Like, apart from that, TV in your lounge while you're eating your bowl of generation has been god awful. I know we have Forza Horizon 4, which is arguably like Xbox's only contender for Game of the Year this year.
Yes.
It's being dubbed as the best looking racer this generation. They've like I've said it to you before, Boom. If use your strengths.
Yes, absolutely.
Use your strengths. So at the moment they've got a heavyweight boxer in the corner of the ring, but instead of letting him punch shit out of the opposition, they're already throwing in the towel. It's like, just, they've got a hard hitting console exclusive on the horizon, and they haven't put out one, at least at this point. I'm yet to see a lot of marketing. If they have put out any marketing, it's very minimal to say the least. So, yes. Sorry that was long-winded, but you asked me.
No, please listen. This is a conversational podcast, dude. Your opinion does matter.
Well, all I can say is that everything I just said, that is in answer to your question: does Xbox need to take notes? And I'm just hoping that this generation has been a massive learning curve for Aaron and the team, and come next gen, we're going to see a lot more coverage and promotion for these games. Like, they can't keep doing it this way. Like, how can you have Forza Horizon 4 dropping in less than a week? Earlier than that for people who've pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition.
Yep.
And I'm yet to see a trailer. I'm yet to see an advert on my TV. I put my TV on every day, and I am yet to see a trailer. But like you said, like the lightheartedness, they wanted to do that little segment on Inside Xbox. That's all well and good. But like, what good is that when not many people even watch Inside Xbox.
Yeah,
Like, let's be real. Like, it's very polarizing. You've got two sides of the fence here: people who sit down and tune in every month to Inside Xbox, and people who don't bother because they say it's stupid and people need to be fired and this and that and this and that. I just think that if that was their idea of marketing, then they're doing it all wrong.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. You know, I got to give a shout out to Raxel. It's his birthday today, so everyone give this guy a big round of applause. Happy birthday, Rexel. I want to move on to some of the other things. Now, again, Inside Xbox, you know, some people want to take it, some people want to burn it, some people just want to stay, you know, warm or lukewarm about it. You know what? This week, this month's show, Phil Spencer stopped by, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm going to sound like a fangirl here. I could listen to him talk all effing day long. You know why? Because when you hear Phil Spencer talk about Xbox, you know that he's not just a corporate sludge. Like, this guy is a gamer. And he wants to win. He wants to, he wants to do things to get fans excited. And he made a couple of announcements. Now, one questionable, which we'll get into a second. But the first one I want to talk to you about because it's big. He announced that XO18, which is the Xbox-centric version of the PlayStation show that they usually have in December, they're going to have it this November in Mexico City, November 10th. And it, obviously it's a big deal because the XO, events were a big deal. And if you go back, they've made several big announcements during these big XOs, and he had some things to say about it. He said that first party will be leading the charge. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. We're done, in 2018 for first party. So that statement alone tells me that we're going to get some booming information. Now, look, I would rather be the guy that lifts himself up and is disappointed. I'm never the guy that goes in low expectations and it comes out a winner. I'd rather go. So I'm excited. I think there's going to be some big bombs dropped at this show. Dean, Drew, when you hear this and you say, well, Phil Spencer is making this announcement on an Xbox-centric show, and it's going to be the biggest Xbox show since E3, even though it's not in this country, it's in Mexico City. There's a huge Xbox following there. Thousands and thousands of people will be attending this. Do you think that it's fair to say that they wouldn't make an announcement or even have an XO18 unless they had something to talk about?
It's written on the walls, man. If there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes, I love it.
Bottom line, like this particular expo, if I'm not mistaken, they stopped doing it like years ago. Am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. Yes.
So obviously they stopped it for whatever reason. I don't know the ins and outs. Maybe it was just a business decision at the time. But Gamescom has been and gone, and they done that little inside Xbox sort of thing. So they could have made an announcement then, but they didn't. I just can't help but wonder, why now? Why now have they decided, you know what? Let's reboot this expo. Let's get this thing going. For Phil Spencer, right, to actually come out and say the words, this isn't just a glorified Inside Xbox episode. This is a actual event. For him to actually, he has to make the effort to bring that to people's attention because of obviously the polarizing conversation that concerns Inside Xbox. That just speaks volumes to me. That is literally just to get into people's heads that, like you just said, Boom, your words, this is going to be E3 plus. This is E3 plus one. This is going to be our personal extension of E3. And I can't help but wonder again, I just got to say it. Why now? Why now? Why have they decided to bring it back now? This expo is notorious, as you just said, Boom, for its huge announcements. They announced the OG Fable, Halo 2, the launch
Yes.
lineup for the Xbox 360. These are all massive things that were historically, like, you know, milestone for the Xbox when, you know, when they announced them at this expo. I just can't help but wonder that, like, they are bringing this back so they can announce something big.
Well, I got
Like,
something I want to add to your list. I want to
yeah,
add to
go
your
for it.
list here. This is
Yeah.
big. Okay. He mentioned, and why would you bring this up? The purchase and announcement of Rare Studios back in 2002. A lot of people don't remember that. XO02, he announced on the stage, we just bought Rare, everyone. So he made mention of that. Do we get more studio announcements? That's the question. And guess what? The goosebumps on my arms are as tall as I am, and I'm 6 feet. I think that we might be getting something bigger than we expected, closing out 2018 with a bang.
Well, I'll say this, Boom. If they're going, if they've done this to announce more studios, I give them a clap. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But I think what I would rather see is maybe some early build, maybe sort of like trailers. I don't know.
Do you get a Fable logo to pop up on the screen? Everyone just dies right there.
Dude, if they're doing a whole expo, I expect more than a damn logo. I'll say this: like that, we already have 5 new acquisitions, you know, that were announced at E3. 2 that followed that, AA Studios. I know that they're already looking at purchasing another one, like called Obsidian or something. I don't know. Since E3, there's been 5 definite acquisitions, 3 potential extras. So what I'm saying is we've already heard about studio acquisitions. So I want to know and get announcements for the games that these studios are working on. I want to see maybe a little trailer, or maybe even if it's just like the developer coming out on stage, showing some concept art, discussing what they're working on. I really don't care. I'm just telling you now that if they've done this just to announce some studios, while I'll be impressed and be like, yeah, that's cool, Microsoft, I'll honestly be like, but you could have done that in a tweet. Like, you don't, if they're reopening this expo since 2002, 2003, whatever year they stopped doing it, I expect a bit bigger than just a studio announcement. I expect them to show the fruits of their labor. I want to see games.
You know what, dude? I have to agree with you there. I absolutely would. I would have to say that I wouldn't, you know, disappointment. If you listen, I got to be honest. If I wouldn't say that I'm disappointed on studio announcements, but I am going to say this. This is a big deal. Understand that, yes, I'm not going to be able to go to the show. Okay. I live in New Rochelle, New York. And quite frankly, I would go to Mexico City to get to be a part of this Xbox show, because you know what? Who doesn't want to be a part of something big, right? Like, wouldn't you want to be the guy that was there? I was there when they announced the studio acquisition of this, and you know what I'm saying? That would be awesome. But I'm going to be watching it live. We're going to be probably, you know, who knows? We may even stream it live, Drew. We'll see. But it's something that we're going to be talking about, because obviously this is an Xbox-centric show. And the gamers that are in the chat and the people that are eventually going to watch this are going to want to know our thoughts and opinions on it. I think that this show has the tremendous potential to propel the Xbox brand and keep it fresh in everyone's mind going into 2019. Now, again, we do have Crackdown. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I'm super excited for this game. I don't care if it's just a single player is amazing and the multiplayer is okay, and it's all we get is the big open, you know, 5v5. I'll be okay with that. I just cannot wait for Crackdown 3. It's something, it was actually one of my most anticipated titles for 2018 until it was delayed. So it's one of my most anticipated titles for 2019. I'm very excited. I am going to say this. I think that this event in Mexico City on November 10th, 2018 will be the perfect time to finally show off the multiplayer. Drew, what do you think about that?
I think this is definitely a great platform to show off Crackdown 3. This is it, because like that's the thing. Like, I didn't want to see it at E3, because and Saltiest, I remember telling this to Saltiest, and we both had a discussion about this before. It might have been actually on the Saltiest Gaming podcast, but I remember saying not long after E3 to Saltiest Gaming that I'm so glad they didn't show Crackdown 3, because of after all the delays and stuff, I was just like, we're good. We didn't need to see it. I know we got like a little trailer, pretty much, I think, or whatever, but at least it wasn't a full-blown walkthrough and all that kind of stuff. But this being so close to the, let's be real, like 2018 is almost done. Like we're closing up shop for this year, and then next year, the opening of 2019 for Xbox is going to be very Crackdown 3 focused. So this is a great time, if any. Like, if they want to hold on to their chips and not play this round on the, and just wait till maybe like an early 2019 announcement or trailer release or anything, or maybe like the Xbox YouTube channel or something like that, whatever. But if they were planning on announcing something or showing off, like you said, the multiplayer, this would be a great platform to do that, because all eyes will be on Xbox. Everyone's going to tune into this on the premise of its rebooting of an old Expo that was a fan favorite. There's going to be a lot of people watching this, Boom. So if there was ever a time to plant another seed for like, yo, Crackdown 3 is here, it is coming, get excited, that would be great. But I tell you what, though, and I can't remember who said it, it might have been, let me check quickly. Right, I can't remember. I don't want to waste time looking, but you know who you are. But someone said in the chat a moment ago that he'd like to see what Ninja Theory is working on. That's
DJ Singh. I was just going to give him a shout out. Good fan, big fan of the show. Yes, that's exactly what he said. Listen, I don't have a lot of sources, but when you do these shows, you get to friendly with people within the industry, and I've heard that Ninja Theory's game is the one that's the closest to being done. Could you imagine if they just come out on stage and say, here's a trailer, or because I'd like to know what it is, but could you imagine you get a gameplay trailer? I mean, come on, the world.
Well, mate, that's what I'm saying. If there's any truth to what you're saying, and your sources are more accurate than not, then this is, again, like the same what I said about Crackdown. This is a great platform. Like, announce what you're doing, even if it isn't close to release, but it's quite far in its development. Show us a trailer, give us a rough estimate on when we can expect it to hit the shelves, and then on top of that, I just got to say it, I want to see what Playground Games are working on. I want them to announce something. I mean, if what they're working on is really early doors, I just still want to hear them announce something. I just want to hear Playground Games say something. And then obviously, I mean, like, I know people say like Xbox is just Gears, Halo, Forza, but I mean, XO 18, man, is back, baby. Like, Christ, what a time to show us some more Gears 5. Show us a taste of the multiplayer and how it's looking. The Horde mode, maybe. Show us and give us another teaser of the Slipspace engine with Halo Infinite. Like,
goosebumps are starting to ensue. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
mate, not a problem. But that's the thing. If you're getting if your goosebumps are propelling you through the ceiling based on just little old me, Welsh gamer, talking shit, then imagine this shit actually went down on November 10th. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, you know what? It actually would be amazing. But you know what? Something else was talked about and Phil Spencer brought it up himself. So it's literally almost here, because he wouldn't have made mention of it. Mouse and keyboard support on the Xbox One and One X and One S. I'm a little torn. I have an opinion. I'm going to give it, and then I'm going to hear yours. I want to get the chat involved. Give me a 1 if you're excited for mouse and keyboard support coming to the Xbox, and give me a 2 if it's just not for you. Here's the thing. For me, it's two sides of a coin. One side says mouse and keyboard coming is a disaster waiting to happen. And here's why. You know, Sea of Thieves is a perfect example of how cross-play with the PC could go horribly wrong. Now, I don't play, but I know that Mooch and Crap and several people, Clowns and all the guys from his show, they all play, and they have come across cheaters. And obviously, when you talk about PC, you're going to get that. But forget the cheating aspect of it. It is a proven fact that mouse and keyboard will dominate a player with a controller in his hand. It's facts. Okay. Now, Phil Spencer was a little coy, if you will. I'm appealing to anyone that saw the Inside Xbox. He said that he's leaving it up to the developers how to incorporate mouse and keyboard. And to me, that's a problem, because when you have mouse and keyboard and there's no way, okay, to shut it off, and you're stuck playing with mouse and keyboard versus your controller, in my opinion, the game is going to be literally on the side of the person sitting at mouse and keyboard. And secondly, if there's no way to shut it off, now the game is just now ruined for you. And if it happens to be a game that you were really looking forward to, or you really like and you currently play, that game is now you're going to look at the game and you're going to think of hate words to type. Drew, is this a big deal? Or is this something that you think that the developers will have in mind, that, hey, listen, we have to have the ability to shut it off, or at least give you the option to, turn off playing with people with mouse and keyboard?
I've said this for so long. I love the idea personally, because it works both ways in terms of games. Like, there's plenty of games on PC that aren't on console. And I'm sure there's some games on console that haven't made its way over to PC yet. And I just think it's, quid pro quo kind of thing. Like tit for tat. Like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Like, there could be, we could help each other out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, for me personally, one of the biggest games on PC that I would play probably forever and ever, amen, if it was available on console, and that is World of Warcraft. And frankly, if I had the money to invest in a capable rig, I'd probably do that and play World of Warcraft by now. That's not to say I'd sack off Xbox or anything, but I'd love to have the option. So if there are games on PC that haven't made its way to console simply because there's no way of configuring it to a controller, it needs keyboard and mouse, then I am totally behind that. And I think that Microsoft, by doing that, would be giving the gamer the ultimate option. That's not to say everyone's going to use it. That's not to say everyone's going to drop their controller and feel like they're being, gunned to their head. Oh, I need to get a keyboard and mouse now. Like, it's down to the individual. It really is down to the individual. There's PC gamers out there who use controllers depending on the game. Like I know a PC gamer, I talk to him regularly, and he plays Gears of War Ultimate Edition on his PC, and he uses a controller. Why he does that, I don't know. But hell, it's his money, it's his time. He can do what the fuck he wants. So what's to say that someone on console shouldn't be able to use a keyboard and mouse if so choose? But with your concerns on the multiplayer front, I have those same concerns too. But I have already thought of this, and I know for a fact that the one and only surefire way to fix it, let's take Gears 5 as an example.
Okay.
Gears 5 multiplayer lobbies. Before you even enter the lobbies where you can choose the game mode you want to play, you are met with a pop-up, and you got to pick one of three: keyboard and mouse, controller, or mixed.
Yes.
And once you've chosen the one you want, so I'm a controller user, I'll be like, oh, I've got a controller, boom. And then that'll put me in a separate server with controller-only users. And obviously, if you're a dickhead with a keyboard and mouse trying to cheat, and you click on controller, you know, there's with software and code and whatnot. Hopefully, there's a way.
They'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, there's a way of detecting that you're lying, and it's like, well, no, you've got a keyboard and mouse, but or whatever. Like that is the only way they can do it, because you're never going to stop. You know, that's probably the only way you can stop these, as you put it, cheaters. Boom.
Right.
Just developing a game. You know, every game with a competitive multiplayer mode should have this filter system to separate
this algorithm. Would that kind of algorithm would be built right into the code.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever game. So I mentioned Gears, but that goes for any game. Halo, COD, PUBG, you name it. They should have a filter which separates it into controller lobbies, keyboard and mouse lobbies, or mixed. So if you've got a controller and you fancy the challenge up against a experienced keyboard and mouse user, knock yourself out. Go for it. Get your ass kicked if you want. But
right.
You know,
it should be your choice, though.
Option. Yeah. Bottom line, the operative word here from my support behind the keyboard and mouse decision, and in order to fix this problem or this concern you have, it's just options. That is the key word here. Options.
Okay, you know what? Before we go any further, I have to do a couple of shout outs because I've been reading the chat and it's amazing. Dingo Empire says, as long as Microsoft realizes that Xbox gamers are paying the bills, so we require options to protect our gaming experience. Very good point. And then right after him, Vladdy Putin, Gears and Fortnite do it good. There's a button to shut it off, from what I understand. So good on them. Again, the chat, you guys are just amazing. I really appreciate it. Big shout out to the Don, who just showed up in the chat whenever he's around. Listen, that guy knows the stuff. He's a developer. He's a gamer. He's a friend. Good dude. Follow that guy on Twitter. Now, let's go to the other side of the coin. And this is where my teeth are my fangs, if you will, are going to come out. During E3, we got one hell of a trailer for Gears 5, right? We got to see it, and we got to experience it. And I saw it, and I was like, best graphics I've ever seen. But right before that, they showed off Gears Tactics. So, of course, being a SOCOM fan, being a 3 3/4 view kind of a tactics fan, I jumped up and I screamed yes. And then, of course, my balloon was deflated with when I found out that on an Xbox show on E3, they were showing a game that was only going to come to the PC. So now here's my question. This goes out to everyone that works on the Gears franchise. Rod Ferguson, I'm looking at you, dude, and I doubt you watch this podcast. But if you do, my question is, are we now getting Gears Tactics on the Xbox One platform? And if you say no, I have a real problem, because the ideology behind allowing mouse and keyboard to come to the Xbox platform should, in fact, open the door for games of that genre that would be difficult to port because of the controller could now simply be ported over to the Xbox One and say right on the box or right on the description, requires mouse and keyboard. Drew, am I crazy by thinking that this opens the door for Gears Tactics on the Xbox One?
Mate, I've already said, man, I think you'd be I think most people would be pretty damn surprised just how many games could find their way on the consoles, given the power these consoles have nowadays, if keyboard and mouse was a sure thing. And my God, yeah, Christ, if I'm talking giving props to games like World of Warcraft, which have been around for like 2 decades or 2 decades plus, like, I'm pretty damn sure a game that hasn't even hit the shelf yet, that was announced at E3 this year, could in fact make its way over to the console. That's for damn sure. I think Gears Tactic would, well, it wouldn't surprise me if they'd done a deal or something as well. Like literally, like, get yourself a free code for Gears Tactic with our purchase of the Elite keyboard and mouse, something like that, like a good promotion pack to get people on board with this this keyboard and mouse thing. Yeah, I know I keep jumping off on tangents, but I agree. I think 100% that it would come over to console, like probably day and date with the keyboard and mouse and release.
Well, look, I'm going to say this. Again, they've teamed up with Razer. If you're not sure who they are, they make they're a maker of awesome keyboard and mouse setups. So that would be pretty awesome if they said, "Hey, buy the new Razer setup, the keyboard and mouse combination, and we give you Gears Tactics for free," because I would be on board. I've never used keyboard and mouse in the history of my life. Outside of playing solitaire back in the days, I don't play games on the computer. I don't have a rig. I have a Surface 4 Pro, which has a tiny screen, does the job for for podcasting and running the channel, but I certainly wouldn't play any games on it. But listen, it's going to be what it's going to be. I just hope that when you talk about Xbox Live, I think it's safe to say that we all know we're paying $60 a year, and if you're frugal, I usually pay $30 a year. I wait for sales. I buy 2 at a time. $60 gets me 2 years. But with that said, we're still paying for a service, and because we're paying for the service, we should be allotted options. And if I don't want to play against another player that has mouse and keyboard that's going to basically wipe the floor with me, I should in 2018. Technology, I should be able to just click a button and say nope, no players with mouse and keyboard coming my way, and that's the end of the story. I don't want to hear about player counts and keeping a game running because you're adding more players. I don't want to hear any of that. I'm a paying customer, and as such, I want the option to not play with mouse and keyboard or people on a PC. That's it. End of story. Anything else to add to this, Drew?
No, mate. That just to add, just literally just to say what you're saying, I literally think that is what's going to happen. That's all that can happen. And frankly, unless Microsoft want a tidal wave of bitching and moaning, and believe me, I'll be the first one in front of that line, that queue to bitch and moan. All they need to do is just do an update for each of their games with multiplayer. And then every company making these multiplats, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, the list goes on. They just need to make the multiplayer lobbies filtered so they can avoid this bullshit. But I'm all for the keyboard and mouse, man. It should be exciting. Another game I'd love to see come to Xbox is Empire Earth.
Yes, that people have been talking about that in the chat. I don't even know what that is.
Empire Earth is basically Halo Wars 2, but all through the ages, you can fight as Romans or cavemen, all the way to the future. There's like robots and stuff as well. It's pretty fucking mental. But I used to play it with my friend on the PC all the time, and that was probably the last time I played on PC.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. But you know what? Let's move on to the next story. Obviously, we're going to keep it in the Xbox family. The developers at 343 Industries respond via Twitter to the fans' concerns regarding the leaked microtransactions being added to Halo Infinite, also known as Halo 6. Here are the tweets from both the community manager, Brian Jarrett, as well as studio head, Chris Lee. Now, I got to give a shout out to Hidden Xperia of Twitter. And this is the question. I do genuinely have a lot of faith in 343 for Infinite. We'll have a video out soon talking about why, but as unsurprising as this is, it still hurts a lot. And he was referring to the microtransactions, right? So so Chris Lee, studio head at 343, responded, and he says this: "Keep the faith. It's appreciated. We're still working through the final plans and we'll share more when we are ready. But I can definitely say that Halo Infinite will not include real money loot boxes." Okay. Now, another tweet from another Twitter user, Bailey J. the Third. And it says, sweats profusely. Honestly, I'm now significantly more worried about Halo Infinite. This job listing uses very worrying terms. And that question was answered and responded by Brian Jarrett, who is the community manager at 343. And this is what he had to say. I know there's very little info to go on thus far, but I wouldn't worry over a job description. All pretty standard stuff in the industry. Doesn't mean it will result in something bad. Okay, so now, Drew, this is my question to you. Do these responses give you hope that Microsoft will not make the loot boxes or microtransaction mistakes that EA did with Star Wars Battlefront 2?
Yeah, Christ. I mean, like, what I got from those tweets and stuff was that it seems, us included, I'm no hypocrite. I think a lot of people assumed way too much. I think they assumed, made an ass out of you and me. I think people jumped the gun. I think they saw that news about that, like, that microtransaction sort of like thing, like the guy they hired to like oversee microtransactions or something like that, something to that effect. And then on top of that, like, people like lose their minds when it comes to microtransactions. But I stick to my guns on the whole front, man. Like, I certainly do not care about microtransactions. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, as long as it's cosmetic only.
Correct.
I've said this, Boom, you were there. I said it
Yes.
to you last week, and I'll continue saying it until I'm buried in my garden somewhere. right next to my dead turtle and my dead hamster. I literally do not care. Frankly, I don't see the big hoopla about it. I don't see why people were worried, why these guys even felt they had to respond. I mean, it's nice that they did, but it should never have come to this. I mean, for God's sake, it's microtransactions. It's basically all over the place already. You're never going to avoid it. But I tell you what, this has definitely filled me with confidence is the fact that they're listening to the extent that, like, don't worry, in a sense, they're basically saying the multiplayer will not be affected, which is what I said to you last week. Like, you're not going to be able to pay $10 for a bloody gun that shoots 10 bullets instead of 1, or has a trigger finger of like 3 burst, or you can shoot a rocket launcher out of your eyeballs. You literally, like, to me, this just says that if they in fact do give you the option to spend money, it'll literally only be for armor or skins or visor colors or voice choices, like anything cosmetic, really. So yeah, like, and like So Shady said, he just took the words right out of my mouth. Shout out to So Shady in the chat. He said he's not bothered neither, as long as he can earn everything in game as well. So with a fair amount of grinding. So as long as, like, because I that's what I said last week. That's what I mean. I was just about to reiterate what I said last week, and he just took the words right out of my mouth. As long as you can still earn in-game currency with or without spending money, but the option to spend money is there if you're impatient, you want to just buy a certain helmet or a certain armor piece. By all means, the world is your oyster. The option is there. I don't mind. But like So Shady said, and it does bring up a good point, I think there should be a fair amount of grind. Those were his words. Yes. So in a sense, I don't want 343 to scum me hard and drag me over the rocks, drag me over the coals. Basically, like, I have to play 110 games to earn 1 fucking coin. Like, I don't want it to be.
Yeah, that would be bad. That definitely would be bad.
That'd basically be 343 going, oh, you don't have to use microtransactions, but, well, here you go. For $10, you can get 1,000 coins versus play 100 games and get 1 coin. Like, but I doubt that'll happen. Obviously, there's got to be a balance. Like I said before, Halo Infinite is definitely going to be probably one of the bigger Halos in the saga thus far, one of the bigger projects. They have to make their money back somehow. Games are getting bigger, they're costing more. So I'm not against microtransactions, as long as they keep it fair, as long as they're not screwing over the other gamers in multiplayer. Yeah, and give us the choice. Why the hell not, eh? Why the hell not? But then don't leave us out to dry if like we're not in a position to pay for microtransactions and we just want to grind, like Shady said, and you're just giving us a couple of pennies for our hard work. It's like, give me more than a shilling, y'all.
Yes, definitely. Listen, I got to give a shout out to Chief Nagel the Eighth. He says, not worried about 343 microtransactions. Halo 5 didn't bother me. They know to keep the gameplay at an even playing field. And he's correct. Again, I'll say this. I wasn't a big fan of Halo 5's story. I didn't wind up beating that game until at the end of last year, if you could believe it. I'm a huge Halo fan. I have an energy sword replica sitting right next to my head. I have a shrine to Master Chief and everything Halo behind me. So I'm a fan. But I was not a fan of that game. Warzone, on the other hand, was fantastic. I didn't put a lot of time into it, but when I played it, I really did enjoy it. But you know what? I'd have to agree with everybody in the chat. I think 343 has heard the message loud and clear. And to be completely honest, they need a big win. They can't come out and muck this up. They have to, put out Halo Infinite, make it amazing. It's going to have the new Slipstream engine, like you mentioned earlier. We don't know anything else past a few, like that trailer. I have a feeling it's going to be big, and I don't think they're going to, take any chances and be cheeky and try and steal shillings from the gamer. But
can I just say something as well, Boom?
Yes,
quickly?
Please, absolutely.
Chief Nagel V111 VIII. I can't remember. I think that's 8 in Roman numerals.
Yes.
Yeah, Chief Nagel the 8th. Sorry, I really should know my history by now. My apologies. But he literally said the words, would also be nice if they also have a few armors, which you can only earn by completing challenges. Yes. So that brings me back to Halo 3, man. Like Halo 3, you had to play like all the levels on Legendary to unlock the Samurai armor.
Yeah.
You had to do a certain amount of headshots and Team SWAT to unlock the Flame helmet. Like, I'd love to see that. Like, no amount of grind on multiplayer and no amount of microtransactions will help you with certain armors. I want there to be specific achievements, specific challenges. Mate, well said. I'm 110% behind you on that one. They need to bring that sort of feel back to Halo. I mean, they're already going back to their roots. You can tell by the art style, but it'd be cool if they brought that back. Just like, because that was one of the best things. Like when you went into multiplayer and you'd see someone with a samurai outfit or a flaming helmet, and you'd be like, bloody hell, they've clearly.
I worked my ass off to display that, dude. Yes,
exactly. You just show you basically, in a nutshell, without even opening your mouth, you're statementing like, I have beat this game on Legendary, you mother bitches. Come at me, bro.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. And obviously, being an Xbox-centric show, it's almost automatic gaming news when you get October's games with gold. And here are the titles as follow. Depending on whether you think this is a terrible list, I happen to think it's terrible. But you know what? We're going to talk about it. For the Xbox One, we are getting for free, and technically it's really not for free because you pay for Xbox Live, but whatever. You're getting Overcooked. Now, that's going to be available from October 1st through the 31st. I'm going to be honest with you. I have the game. I've only played a little bit of it. It is okay. I know that a lot of people love that game, so okay if you enjoy it. Victor Vran, which is like a Diablo kind of a game. Well, I think it's a single player, though. Game does look interesting. Just not a strong Xbox One title. And in regards to, and that's going to be available from October 16th through November 15th for the Xbox 360, which of course are backwards compatible. You have Stuntman Ignition, which is available from October 1st through the 15th. And then following that, Hitman Blood Money on October 16th through the 31st. Now, look, I'm going to be honest. I'm not one of these whiny kind of a gamers. I think I have really put myself out there, and you know the kind of gamer I am. But I'm going to say this. These games are shitty. Sorry. Okay. I understand Overcooked won a lot of awards and it's a lot of fun in multiplayer. But my goodness, first of all, they're all like, I mean, except for the Xbox 360 games, you know, those were full games. Yes. Hitman Blood Money was supposed to be one of the better ones in the franchise. I hear you, but the Xbox One titles are just straight up terrible. Drew, I read you the list. Are you as disappointed as me? And you know what? Chat, let me get your opinion on this. If it was a crap month, type hashtag crap. And if it was a good month, hashtag good. Let me get your feeling on this. What's your take, Drew? Am I overreacting, or is this just another shitty month for games with gold?
Dude, I hope by now you know that you can react in any way you see fit. Like, opinions are opinions. Like everyone's entitled. Like if you feel like you need to call this trash, you go right ahead. For me, I think I've seen worse. I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I'm not saying it's extremely, incredibly amazing, but I after you when you posted me the topics, obviously I missed the initial video because I was away. But I went on YouTube and looked up the Games with Gold trailer, and I did a mini I wrote down a little note next to each one, like Overcooked. Probably I won't download it, and if I do, I'll probably never get round to playing it. But it looks like it could be fun, especially if you have a kid. It looks like it could be a bit of fun, like with your kid, if your kid's interested in gaming. Victor Vran literally looks like Van Helsing crossed with Lara Croft.
Yes, it does.
It does. Which, by the way, is I really actually quite enjoyed Lara Croft.
Oh, the Lara Croft games are fantastic. Yes, I agree.
No, it was very good. Like it was a over the top, 4-player co-op sort of like beat 'em up, sort of like arcadey 4-player co-op puzzle game, and I did enjoy it. So I'll probably download that for a cheeky Sunday when I'm hungover. Stuntman Ignition, I reckon, should be called GTA 5 Jumps the Game. Because it literally, honestly, based on the small little bit of gameplay they've shown, it literally does just look like, on GTA when you go up over those ramps and it goes in slow-mo and counts your points. And it literally looks like that. Like, it looks like a whole game based on just doing these crazy-ass ramp stunts and stuff. So, I'll probably grab that just for when I'm bored. And Hitman Blood Money, now that is literally the cherry on the cake here, to be honest.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the better ones.
Oh, for sure. If my younger brother was here right now on this show, he would tell you that is a 10 out of 10 game. And if you don't pick that up, if you haven't played that already, you're a fool. So I've written that down next to Hitman Blood Money. And as someone who hasn't played that game, I'm going to download it in honor of my younger brother, because he loves the Hitman series. That is that is apparently a great game. My younger brother have said Blood Money is probably one of, if not the best game he's played in the Hitman series. So it's definitely I'm definitely going to download that one. I think there's always going to be good months and bad months. And frankly, even me saying that, it's a very subjective question. For some people, this month could be trash. For others, it could be good. It depends on your situation. Like I just mentioned, Overcooked could be good for kids. But if you're someone who doesn't have a kid and that doesn't mean shit to you, then you're going to look at Overcooked as a piece of trash. So it depends on the individual. But I'd say out of some of the games with gold I've seen over the last year or so, this is probably not the worst. So I'm going to go to say hashtag good. Not great, but good. I'm especially excited to try Victor Vran with a few buddies, Stuntman Ignition, and of course, like I mentioned, Blood Money. As for Overcooked, it's another option. It's free. God damn it, it's free. Free, baby. If it's free, give me 10.
Yeah, big shout out to Saltiest Gaming, who was in the chat. He told me something when I was on one of his shows. If it's free, give me 3. So every time I say it, I just laugh. Big shout out to Salty, good dude in the community, great YouTube channel. Go check that out. Okay, so now we're going to move on to, and I think this is the bigger story. Every time you get a Games with Gold announcement, you're going to get a Game Pass announcement. And this month's Games with Gold, Game Pass is big. Here are the October's Game Pass titles that have been announced. And it appears that there was some sort of a deal made with Bethesda that we didn't know about, because leading the charge, obviously, other than Forza Horizon 4, which is, come on, I mean, that's going to be Game Racer of the Year. It could even be some people's Game of the Year. Wolfenstein: The New Order. Now, I don't know whether or not you've played it. I've played it up, down, left, right, BA, select, start, and it was an amazing title from start to finish. You have Metro 2033 Redux. You have Westerado Double Barreled. No, not Double Barreled Gaming, and it's not part of my channel, though I wish it was. You have Shantae Half Genie Hero. Those are for the Xbox One. And for the Xbox 360, you have Lego Indiana Jones, The Original Adventures, and Split Second.
Can I just say, Boom, and it might be a surprise to everyone, but Split Second was a game made by Disney, and it's an arcade racer.
It's amazing.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
One of the best racers on the generation.
Yeah, make crazy fun, especially with friends. If you haven't played that, install that immediately. You will not regret it. But carry on, Boom. Sorry.
No, that's quite all right. Now, everything will be available October 1st, except for Forza Horizon 4, which will be available when the game officially launches worldwide on October 2nd. Now, Drew, these games are strong. I mean, even if you like, cell shaded, side scrolling type of game, Shantae Half Genie Hero, great, game. Westerado, I don't know what it is. I did not look it up. Shame on me as a host. But you know what? It's in there. But all of the other titles I know of, and like I said, besides Forza Horizon 4 leading the way, man, Wolfenstein: The New Order was a fantastic title. That is strong to be put into Game Pass. What's your take your takeaway from the games I just read?
Dude, all I've got right in terms of notes is a big thick Sharpie marker line and 3 exclamation marks next to this. Value for money.
Yes.
It is just the gift that keeps on giving. You pay your £7 a month. Your $99 a year, if you've taken the recent deal, it's probably up now, but you're still for the low price of $120 a year, which sounds a lot at once, but that's the price of 2 titles, guys, and you're getting over 100 plus. And games like this are being added all the time. It is value for money. Keep them coming, man. It's just more and more options, and some of those games they mentioned that I do know of, obviously with the exception of Forza Horizon 4, you've got Wolfenstein: The New Order, Metro 2033, which I can recommend personally. Probably my game of the bloody century alongside The Witcher. I love that series. I played Metro Exodus at EGX 2018 this weekend just gone, and my God, if you haven't invested in the Metro series, let this be your entry into the series. Play this and then play Last Light, and get yourselves ready for Exodus, because I'm telling you, it is a phenomenal game. I played about 20 minutes of the pre-alpha on a dev kit, and it is beautiful. And it all started with Metro 2033, guys, so get your hands on that. Lego Indiana Jones, I've already said to you, Boom, I love Lego games. Split Second is awesome. This is just an awesome lineup of games added to an already large plethora of options for the people who pay for the service. It's incredible, Boom. Like I said, value for money.
Oh, yes. Well, look, like I said, if you are a frugal gamer, Black Friday is around the corner. And this is the best time to get your Xbox Game Pass and or your Xbox Live Gold. You have, like I said, usually during the holidays, I pick up Gold for $30, sometimes even less. I usually buy 2 at a clip. So I sew up, like I'm paid all the way through 2019. I will be picking up 2 more to get me paid into 2021. That goes for Game Pass. During the middle of this year, I got a deal where Amazon was offering half price Game Pass, $30, 6 months. $5 a month is what you're paying, folks. You just cannot beat that. So if you're a gamer on the budget, and a lot of us are, especially this time of year. I mean, it's the fall, so there's so many good games coming out. Where do you put your money? And you need these online services and Game Pass. If you're an Xbox guy, I think it's an automatic that you have to have it. Go out there and get it.
Well, for the boom, like bottom line, I've said this 1,000,001 times, but I feel I need to. Whenever Game Pass is mentioned, I'm not like working for Microsoft or anything. But if this helps people save money, I don't care. I'm going to promote that shit. But Xbox exclusives, which would otherwise cost you like $60+ a pop, you're getting free day and date for the low price of $7.99 a month, as well as all these other games they keep throwing at you. It's just insane. You frankly are insane if you don't already have a subscription with Game Pass, because it is just deals after deals after deals. These deals are steals, man. They literally come at a low price. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, you couldn't. I actually could not even follow that up, because that is the perfect sales pitch for someone who's interested in getting over 100 games to be able to download. And they are putting new titles, and a perfect example of that is the racer of the year, racer of the generation, if you will, Forza Horizon 4, showing up there October 2nd. So, listen, I think we've beaten this pony to death. No offense. But you know what?
Pony? Where are they? Where are they?
Whoa! Hold on! Shots fired, people. Okay, so the next topic. This story was pulled from Windows Central, and it's interesting, and it's a big one. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is going to be big. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not buying it. I'm in several contests, so if you see me playing it, it's probably because I want it. I am not usually an online fan with Call of Duty. I buy them for the single player. I know that is something that is only old men do. I turned 48 yesterday, so yes, I am an old man. I hear you. Not yesterday, Tuesday. I'm sorry. See ya, old man. But I won't. When you take out the single player, unless it's something that I like Titanfall. Titanfall 1 was multiplayer only, but I grew up, watching Robotech, so I was excited to play with the big mechs, and it wound up being my game of the year that year. But Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is going to be big, and I'm going to be honest with you. I admitted on Crossfire last week openly that the Blackout trailer sold me on the game. I'm still not buying it, but I came around to saying I would play. I don't play PUBG, I don't play Fortnite, but I would play Blackout. It looks fantastic. But with the story that Windows Central ran, and I'm very excited. I'm excited to say it and talk about it, but I'm not surprised. The Call of Duty Black Ops 4 will target native 4K resolution on the Xbox One X. Now, I'm not surprised by this. The game looks gorgeous on the X, and for obvious reason, it's going to be the console of choice to play Treyarch's newest Call of Duty. And today, Digital Foundry released an analysis of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 on the beta, and according to the outlet, the game targets native 4K resolution at 60 frames per second through dynamic scaling on the Xbox One X. Since it's a beta, the resolution at any given time did drop, but I think that once the full game is out there, that will hopefully be fixed and it's running at a steady 60 FPS. It's great to see that the developer is pushing the visuals further on the Xbox One X, simply because it offers the cleanest, most powerful system that is currently available, and I'm glad to see it. You don't want these developers getting lazy and be like, oh, okay, well, we're just gonna kind of just res it up a little bit. I'm glad that it's going to be running the best on the X, because again, the Xbox One X is the most powerful console that's currently available in this generation. Drew, what is your take on Call of Duty Black Ops 4 not only running in 4K but running at 60 frames per second?
I got to give props to the developer. I mean, I always give Call of Duty devs a bad time, a harsh time, and I stand by everything I've said because they are lazy. But I do give them props for going that extra mile to optimize their game for the, as you've dubbed, console of choice. Yeah, I think it's great. Because end of the day, Sony does have the marketing deal, and we've all and through this throughout this generation thus far, we have heard like that, hashtag bottleneck, hashtag parity, all these things. It has happened. There has been cases. It's just nice to see that the Xbox One X is being utilized, because for people who have spent the money on their setups, buying that One X and stuff like that, like you want to see you want to see the best. You want to see what you've spent your money on, is what I'm getting at.
Yes, good point.
You want to see why. You want to, for everyone who has an Xbox One X, I think you will agree, you're constantly always just after an extra reason why you can tap yourself on the back and be like, yeah, do you know what? Buying that console and that TV, mounting that puppy on my wall was one of the best things I ever did. Because like I do it all the time. Like when I put in Gears of War 4 for the 100th time, or The Witcher 3, or whatever, any game really. Like if it's got the 4K patch, if there's an announcement of a game getting a 4K patch, my radar goes. Then I'm like, whoa, I'm gonna have a go on that game.
Yes. Well, Doom got, remember Doom's 4K patch, amazing.
Yeah. Oh mate, I've played Doom thanks to their Game Pass. Looks absolutely stunning. I can't wait to play Rise of the Tomb Raider, the second installment, once I finally finish Tomb Raider Definitive Edition.
Thank goodness you're playing it, dude, because I'm going to be honest with you. I had to hold back Microbox of X from giving you lashings. Okay.
Oh mate, he gave me lashings. He gave me. He swirlied me in the toilets. He hurt me, man. He's like, this is for not playing Tomb Raider. I was like, I've played it now. Please stop. No, man, it's good news. It's good news. The fact that Digital Pony, as I love to call them, because I love, digital. I hate Digital Foundry anyway. I hate what
I'm not a fan of them.
Oh mate, I just hate the whole concept of Digital Foundry. Like they are literally kings and queen nitpickers, but because they know their way around hardware, they're all of a sudden gospel. And I hate how they've put a distasteful stamp on this console war. Like all of that crap we had at the beginning of this generation.
Blades of grass,
grains of sand. All of that was enforced and propelled to ridiculous, unearthly heights because of Digital Foundry and their so-called professional analysis. More like prodding the bull.
I agree.
I think they're assholes, man. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But even they have come out and said, like, as it was just a beta hitting 4K 60 dynamic scaling at times, but nevertheless, and that just Digital Pony out the equation. That says a lot about the beta and what these guys have done with the game, because if that's just a beta, then the full product release should be looking even better, like you said. I think it's great. I think it's really good. And, people are going to be salty over there at Sony land because, it's Xbox, who doesn't even have the marketing deal. They're getting the better version. But bottom line is, we had it for however many years when PlayStation were the leading console in terms of power. It's just the way it is. If next generation comes along and the PS5 is leaps and bounds over the Xbox Scarlet, for a fact that these articles and these analysis are going to be saying PlayStation 5 console of choice. So it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just the gaming industry we're in. We're in the show me what you've done lately state. It's just how it is. And in this case, Call of Duty being the next big bad boy on the market in terms of the battle royale genre, this is good news for any Xbox fan who's looking to pick up this game, especially if you're a One X owner. I think it's very good.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we're going to move on to the next topic, but I got to give a shout out to D Almighty Spartan Guard. He said, let's talk about Devil May Cry 5. Now, I don't know the guy personally, but were you kind of like looking over my shoulder when I was doing your notes? Because that's going to be the last story of today. And this story was pulled from comicbook.com. And this is what they had to say. Although fans are still uncovering new details about Devil May Cry 5, we do know this. It's going to run on the Xbox One X at 4K 60. And via a Capcom press release, and obviously a new trailer, which I encourage you checking out, some unlikely sources are also shedding the light on the forthcoming character action game. This week, new store listings appeared for Devil May Cry 5 that, while covering a lot of the basis of the story and gameplay, also revealed that the title will have and support 3-player multiplayer, 3-player co-op. Are we kidding me? Now, since nothing has been officially confirmed by Capcom, it's worth treating this news with a careful eye. But usually, store listings like these are worth paying attention to. On Steam, the listing claims that Devil May Cry 5 will support multiplayer and co-op, which is something that the title has never had. Okay, and there have been multiple playable characters, each having their own separate story. But while the Steam listing features a nebulous multiplayer support claim, the listing for console specifically says the game will feature 2 to 3 player co-op. Neither the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox Store listings go beyond that. So here, the larger question now becomes why Capcom has held on to this reveal that Devil May Cry 5 will support multiplayer and co-op, assuming that these listings were not mistaken. Drew, let me ask you this. First of all, Devil May Cry 5 coming back, is that in itself is going to be big for gaming, because as good as Ninja Theory's DMC was, a lot of people did not like it because it wasn't the Dante that they know and love. This game coming out in March of 2019 is the successor to the incredible Devil May Cry 4. I could not be happier. I'm so absolutely stoked about this game. I've watched every trailer 3 and 4 times each one. The music looks amazing. The action looks crazy. First of all, it's the best graphics in the series. Could you imagine being able to team up with 2 of your buddies and play the game? How incredible is that going to be for the series?
Dude, I've said this for just about every possible game ever made. Think about what year it is. It's 2018. We're about to roll into 2019. Consoles have never been any more powerful. Gaming has never been more advanced. There is literally no excuse anymore for these developers to not add a multiplayer option to their game. Now, I'm not saying a game like Cyberpunk 2077 needs to go out and make a competitive multiplayer lobby where you can fight 10 on 10 or 5 on 5. No. Stick to what you're good at, Cyberpunk. You're good at, CD Projekt Red, you're good at single player games, whatnot, but give me the option to party up with 1 buddy minimum. At the very most, maybe 3 of my buddies. So there's 4 of us cooperatively going through the streets in this land of Cyberpunk. Like, give me the option. So Devil May Cry 5, on the topic of DMC5, I think it's great. And I'll sing that song till the day I die, brother. To the day I'm buried next to my hamster and my turtle, like I said earlier. It needs to be done. This is a trend that should be set for the rest of time. Like, any game, you name it, name a game, they need to have a if it's a single player only game, they need to have co-op. They need to do it, and I think this is what pretty much every game should be doing. The next Elder Scrolls game, when Bethesda come out and show off the next Elder Scrolls game, if they come out and say single player only, I'll be ready to slap people.
Yeah,
because it's stupid. It's 2018. There's no excuse for it anymore. The Xbox Live, the network is strong. PlayStation Network is, it's just, there's no excuse anymore. It needs to happen. So I am very much excited for the fact that Devil May Cry 5 is doing it, because it means people who are head over heels in love with the series get to play with their friends, which is giving them more bang for buck. It's longevity, it's replayability. You might want to play through it once on your own and then be like, right, I want to play through it again on a harder difficulty, but with 2 of my friends. This opens up the block to them doing maybe like a 3-player horde mode, where it's just you and 2 of your mates with unlimited waves and all these power-ups and these smash attacks.
Oh my God, yeah, that'd be great.
Like, mate, the possibilities are endless. But my bottom line is, when you told me about Devil May Cry having the co-op mode and it being the first time in the series so far, I shouted to the high heavens, yes, and tell your fucking friends.
Yeah.
Like, tell your other dev buddies, because this is what needs to happen.
Yeah, more multiplayer when it comes to co-op that allows you to not have to fight anyone else, but to team up with your buddies, I think is always fun. And being that this is going to be a new addition, to the franchise, this it's coming out in a big way. Besides the graphics, besides the Dante being back, with the real Dante that we all know and love, and basically the DMC universe coming at us, like basically punch us in the face. This is big news. And also, I just want to make sure that I credit the story, if I didn't already say it. The story that this particular story was pulled directly from comicbook.com. I'm a big fan of theirs. I think that their site is incredible. You see the name, you think comic book. It's not only comics. They do drop tons and tons of game coverage. So if you're not a fan, you should be. Head over to comicbook.com. Yes, this is a free, this is not a paid ad. It's just I'm a big fan of theirs, and I just want to make sure that I accredit them with the story that I pulled. But you know what? It has been a rock'em sock'em 90 minutes. I mean, it's just wow, what a show, man. And I have to, first of all, I have to thank the chat. You guys are, as always, the main reason why I love doing this. Seeing you guys interact with one another, becoming friends, becoming mates, trading your PSN names and your Xbox Live tags. That's awesome. That's what gaming is supposed to be. Yeah, sure, there's plastic wars and my box is bigger than your box, and I get it. But at the end of the day, we're all gamers. We're supposed to just enjoy each other's company. And I have to congratulate everybody in the chat once again. UK Dazarus, moderator of the universe, once again has done his sheriff duties and kept a clean chat like he always does. I'm a big fan of his before he was the moderator. If you don't know who UK Dazarus is, please head over to Twitter, follow this man, and also check out his YouTube channel. He does really awesome Forza videos. Obviously, his channel is going to be up in big, in a big way because of Forza Horizon 4. He does retro Renegades sometimes. He's a big retro gamer. So go check out his channel. And of course, I could not do this show without Drew, the Welsh gamer, my good friend, my brother from another mother, and also from another country. Dude, you were amazing as always. Please tell everyone where they can find you on Twitter and where they can check out your work on YouTube.
Cheers, Boom. Thank you very much. I know you already mentioned UK Dazarus, or as I like to call him, the mod god, but I just want to do a shout out as well, just to say that this guy, I don't think there is a show he is not moderating on. He is committed. His levels of commitment outweigh mine, that's for sure. I just got to give him 110% props. Big ups to you, dude, and I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you. But as for my channel, whatnot, the Welsh Gamer, 3 words, the Welsh Gamer. Go over, check it out. Check out my latest videos. I did the EGX 2018 coverage. 2 videos on the shop floor. And 1 video was the after party. I had a lot of fun this weekend. I had a lot of fun editing those videos. Please check them out and subscribe if you like the stuff. And keep the constructive criticism coming. On Twitter, I am at the Welsh Gamer 93, 1 word. Be sure to follow me and drop me a DM or anything if you ever want to chat. You know where I am. And that's it. That's pretty much it, guys. Please tune in to the Dragon X podcast later on, 7 p.m. BST or 2 p.m. EST, depending on where you are in the world. I'll be having the lovely BoomStickXL as a guest, as well as my friend who went to EGX with me, Andy Mack, as guests. So, yeah, please check it out. Awesome show. Xbox Factor podcast. Done and dusted. Once again, look forward to next week. Chat was lively as ever. Thank you very much. Back to you, Boom.
Yeah, okay. And before we go, and I probably should have did this in the beginning, if you don't already know, Breakfast with Boom will be airing live tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm doing an announcement on Twitter as to who's going to be on as guests. And I'm going to tell you this right now. They're the best in the business. And what makes this show even more magical is it's going to be known as Boom's Birthday Bash. And though it was my birthday this week, I'm not the one getting the presents. You guys will, because 4 lucky listeners that are going to be in the chat are going to walk away with official Breakfast with Boom merchandise. I have 3 coffee mugs and a T-shirt up for grabs, and all you're going to have to do is tune in, put the hashtag out there, and Twitter Pick is going to pick the winner. 4 prizes are going to be going out. So I'm very excited about that. And it's funny, the story behind that is even better. And I probably should have said this from the beginning, but I'll tell the story anyway. My incredible wife, Josette, who supports me and has been a supporter of this show and all of my work. Literally, she is my first subscriber to YouTube, surprised me with an early birthday gift. And it was sitting on the table when I got in, and she said, "This is for you. It's for your birthday, but it's not for you. It's for your fans." So she donated the prizes that are going to be given away tomorrow morning on Breakfast with Boom as a gift to me, but she really was giving a gift to the fans that support her husband. So so big shout out to Josette, my wife, who again supports me on everything that I do, and I really look forward to actually being able to now do prizes on the shows. It's something I've wanted to do, and now that I'm finally making a little money on the back end, I'll be able to afford to do giveaways. So tune in tomorrow morning for Breakfast with Boom at 10 a.m. and you can find me later on the Welsh's channel on YouTube at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be a guest on his show. Thanks again for everyone that tuned in. We had almost 80 people watching. That is incredible. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow morning on Breakfast with Boom. Have an awesome day, everybody.
Bye-bye now.